Chapter 1. Little Buddha. Little Buddha, what brings you here today? Chi Tizui tidied up the things on the table, his gaze falling on Zhang Ritong, who was about the height of his chest. Wearing a lion dance hat and a small linen suit, Zhang Ritong put down the divination stick in his hand. Uncle Chi, where has my father gone again? He hasn't been home at night lately, and my mother's health has been deteriorating. Zhang Ritong crossed his arms in front of his chest, putting on an angry expression. Years ago, he had crossed into the tomb raiding world, becoming a descendant that did not exist in the original work, Zhang Qishan and Xinyue, while continuing the Zhang family lineage. He was named Zhang Ritong, earning the nickname Little Buddha. Familiar with the tomb raiding plot, Zhang Ritong knew that his name could be traced back to his great-grandfather. It is well known that Zhang Qishan's grandfather was named Zhang Ritong, who was once the family head of the Zhang family, Zhang Qiling, but unfortunately died unexpectedly during a tomb raiding due to the onset of soul loss syndrome. Thus, Zhang Ritong's name came to be, symbolizing a desire to recognize his ancestors. After all, his father Zhang Qishan was expelled from the Zhang family by Zhang Ritong simply because his estranged grandfather Zhang Haiju married someone from an outside clan. This led to the birth of his father Zhang Qishan. Knowing that the Zhang family's rules are strict against intermarriage with outsiders, according to the family rules, his estranged grandfather Zhang Haiju should have been executed. At that time, as the head of the Zhang family, Zhang Ritong acted out of selfishness. Even a tiger doesn't eat its cubs, and he couldn't bear to execute his estranged grandfather, Zhang Haiju. Thus, he expelled Zhang Haiju's line from the northeast Zhang family, and ultimately, Zhang Haiju's line traveled south, encountering the Japanese along the way, scattering their ranks. Fortunately, some Zhang family members successfully escaped to Changsha. This established the current position of the Nine Doors in Changsha. Unfortunately, after Xinyue gave birth to him, her health began to decline rapidly. His father Zhang Qishan and maternal grandfather Chongyang searched for famous doctors to no avail. Little Buddha, now everyone in the Nine Doors is busy. The Buddha is discussing matters with a few other heads. If you're free, I could teach you some tricks of the 8 trigrams, Chi Tizui said, stroking Zhang Ritong's lion dance hat. From what Chi Tizui said, Zhang Ritong could vaguely guess some things. According to the original timeline, his father, who hadn't been home at night, was discussing archaeological matters at Xinyue Mountain with several heads of the Nine Doors. At first, Zhang Ritong didn't quite understand why his father Zhang Qishan initiated the largest tomb raiding operation in Nine Doors history, namely the Xinyue Mountain archaeology. However, considering Xinyue's health condition, he quickly realized why Zhang Qishan had to do this. Since Xinyue's health had been declining and several famous doctors had failed to cure her, his father Zhang Qishan turned his attention to the Zhang family. He sought the secret of the Zhang family's longevity to treat Xinyue's illness as a half-Zhang family member. Zhang Qishan understood the Zhang family better than anyone. How could he not know what good things the Zhang family had? The so-called wine party incident was merely a well-directed play by Zhang Qishan. The purpose was to leverage the power of those leaders to more easily find the secrets of the Zhang family. Unfortunately, Zhang Qishan underestimated the Zhang family. The archaeological losses at Xinyue Mountain were extremely severe, and in the end, nothing was found there. Ultimately, Xinyue's health deteriorated step by step until she passed away. It can be said that everything Zhang Qishan did was for Xinyue. Alternate history, redemption. Zhang Ritong, who arrived in the tomb raiding world, wanted to change some things, but at his age of less than 10, his ability was very limited. And he couldn't change much. That it was impossible for him to tell Zhang Qishan everything he knew, right? Wouldn't that make him a self-destructing pawn? Playing werewolf games here, with the White Wolf King self-destructing? I don't want to play. The 8 trigrams aren't fun. Zhang Ritong's angry expression was somewhat cute as he huffily ran out of Chi Tizui's shop. Almost as soon as he stepped out of Chi Tizui's shop, a familiar yet strange voice echoed in his mind. The mechanical voice of the system rang in Zhang Ritong's head. Having read many novels from Blue Star, he knew the standard golden finger for time travelers had arrived. The 7 stars Lu Wang Palace? Just what I need, Zhang Ritong exclaimed excitedly, realizing that the destination was the 7 stars Lu Wang Palace. Internally praising, the system understands me best. Inside the 7 stars Lu Wang Palace, there was a piece of Qilin blood, which might help suppress his mother Xinyue's illness. Qilin blood is a blood clot formed from Qilin blood, a very precious traditional Chinese medicine. The older it is, the more effective it is, and the Qilin blood in the Luoyang Palace is stronger than the living deer grass in Zhang Qishan's possession. However, it is not true Qilin blood, but rather a substance formed from the juice of a plant. This plant is called Qilin blood vine, also known as blood snake vine. It generally grows only in the southern regions. Going to the Seven Stars Luoyang Palace alone is still too risky. No one knows what kind of rewards the system will give. What if I get caught at the Seven Stars Luoyang Palace? Zhang Ritong racked his brains to think about who could accompany him to the Seven Stars Luoyang Palace. Given his current identity and age, he absolutely couldn't let anything about the Seven Stars Luoyang Palace slip from his mouth. If he revealed even a tiny bit of information, he would become a self-destructing pawn. So, the Nine Doors people couldn't be trusted and were not on his list. Anyone who could go with him to the Seven Stars Luoyang Palace must be highly skilled in tomb raiding and have little connection to the Nine Doors, someone he could trust. After thinking for a long time, Zhang Ritong finally thought of a suitable candidate. I got it. I know who would be the best to accompany me to the Luoyang Palace. Zhang Ritong thought of the suitable person and ran with all his might towards the location of the Chen family. Taking advantage of his small stature and agile movements, he successfully sneaked into the Chen family, which was the residence of Chen Paiasi. Now, Chen Paiasi had changed a lot, inheriting the position of the fourth master of the Nine Doors, recognized by several heads of the Nine Doors, and became the head of the Ping Sandmen, usually involved in tomb raiding activities. Aside from the Wu family, it was the family most deeply involved in tomb raiding within the Nine Doors. As Zhang Ritong sneaked into the Chen family, he arrived at the room where Chen Paiasi kept his collection of antiques, surrounded by a dazzling array of antique porcelain that appeared before his eyes. Some of these items he had never even seen in Blue Star. The real treasures are indeed all in the hands of the Earth's scholars. Zhang Ritong wandered around Chen Paiasi's collection of treasures. Just after looking for a while, footsteps could be heard coming from outside the door. Oh no, I'm going to get caught. Red-handed, I can't avoid a beating. Hearing the footsteps outside the door, Zhang Ritong hurriedly looked for a hiding place to avoid. Chapter 2. The Demand for People. Zhang Ritong's small body hid under the table, but the noise he made still attracted Chen Paiasi's attention. Who? Come out. Chen Paiasi took a marble from his pocket and flicked it toward the source of the sound. The marble hitting the table, scaring Zhang Ritong, who was hiding below, into trembling. He hurriedly poked his little head out from under the table, pleading in a childish voice, "Fourth uncle, it's me." He was afraid that the marble would hit him the next second. After all, he had learned to play marbles for a while from Xinyue, his second uncle, and knew that being hit by a marble was no joke. That thing packs quite a punch. If it hits a vital organ, it could lead to serious injury, if not death. Isn't this our little Buddha from the Nine Gates? What are you doing here, you little rascal? When Chen Paiasi saw Zhang Ritong peeking out, he put away his guard. He put the marbles back in his pocket. Zhang Ritong noticed that Chen Paiasi put the marbles away, and only then did he dare to come out from under the table. He understood the grudges within the Nine Gates very well. He knew that his father, Zhang Qishan, had a feud with Chen Paiasi. However, the grievances of the previous generation were the concerns of the previous generation and did not affect the next generation. This was also the reason why Zhang Ritong dared to come to the Chen residence boldly. Fourth uncle, I'm here to borrow a few things from you, aren't I? Zhang Ritong's small hands were on the edge of the table, revealing a pitiful expression. He looked at Chen Paiasi in front of the table. Unfortunately, Chen Paiasi was not swayed by Zhang Ritong's act. Who was Chen Paiasi? He was one of the most ruthless figures among the Nine Gates. Does your Zhang family lack anything? Do you really need to come to our Chen residence to borrow things? Chen Paiasi sat on the chair, took a sip of tea from the cup on the table. It seemed he had forgotten that Zhang Qishan had mortgaged all his family's assets at the New Moon restaurant during the Lantern Festival and had not yet recovered. If you were to say who was the poorest among the Nine Gates, it would undoubtedly be the Zhang family and heir Yuhong, but that did not hinder Zhang Qishan's power within the Nine Gates. Without counting the Zhang family's background, just his position as the defense officer in Changsha, plus the background of the New Moon restaurant allowed Zhang Qishan to firmly sit at the top of the Nine Gates. Fourth uncle, have you forgotten that my dad lit a lantern at the New Moon restaurant? My dad sold all his assets to save my teacher's wife, and if we're talking about what our Zhang family lacks, If you have something at the Chun residence, then there is something indeed. Zhang Ritong began to play the emotional card, bringing up old stories and mentioning heir Yuhong's wife. He knew that Chun Paici had a deep affection for the girl, commonly referred to as the girl. You could almost say that she was Chun Pai's Achilles heel. But when Zhang Ritong mentioned teacher's wife, Chun Pai's action of drinking water paused noticeably, a subtle movement that Zhang Ritong quickly caught onto. He continued to recount those old stories to play the emotional card. Oh, why don't you tell me what the Chun residence has that our great Buddha Zhang doesn't have? Chun Paici put down the teacup, showing signs of being moved. Seeing hope for his request, Zhang Ritong quickly expressed what he wanted. A person. Fourth uncle, didn't you find a capable young man a few days ago? Can you lend him to me for a while? Zhang Ritong put on a pleading expression. Upon hearing this, Chun Paici recalled a recent tomb raiding operation. He had met a capable young man named Akuan during the tomb raiding with the Tao family. However, Akuan's situation was a bit special. He couldn't quite remember his name and identity, which was why he had been caught by the Tao family as bait. In the end, Chun Paici took him in as a worker. What do you want him for? Are you planning to learn his martial arts and have him as a sparring partner? Chun Paici, upon realizing that Zhang Ritong was asking for someone, did not think about the tomb raiding angle at all. Although Zhang Ritong had learned many skills from the heads of the Nine Gates, he wasn't at the level to go tomb raiding yet. Most importantly, Zhang Qishan was from the upper three gates and was involved in official matters. It was impossible for him to get involved in tomb raiding. Yes. Zhang Ritong did not reveal the real reason. He knew the relationship between the upper three gates, the middle three gates, and the lower three gates. Once he mentioned borrowing someone for tomb raiding, Chun Paici would never lend him. If something happened, Zhang Qishan would first look for Chun Paici, and Zhang Ritong was the only heir of Zhang Qishan and Xinyue, backed by the Zhang family and the New Moon restaurant. Even if Chun Paici was capable, he wouldn't dare to offend these two big figures. You must know that the owner of the New Moon restaurant was Xinyue's only daughter. If her health was fine, the New Moon restaurant would eventually belong to her. Even if there were current health issues, it was highly likely that the New Moon restaurant would fall to Zhang Ritong. But if we talk about who was closest by blood to the owner of the New Moon restaurant, it would definitely be this little Buddha, Zhang Ritong. That grandfather was not called in vain. There is no one to lend. Akuan is just a worker under me. Whether he goes with you or not depends on Akuan's personal willingness. Without a second thought, Chun Paici refused Zhang Ritong's request. He knew that Zhang Ritong was clever and very smart. He didn't dare to provoke this little Buddha, as he couldn't afford to lose even a single hair from him. I don't care. Fourth uncle, if you don't lend him to me, I'll just stay here and not leave. Zhang Ritong lay down on the floor, using his hands and feet to roll around, crying and making a scene. His dramatic behavior left Chun Paici with a headache. He couldn't hit him, nor could he scold him. He truly had no way to deal with this little Buddha. Zhang Ritong was the apple of the eye of several heads of the Nine Gates, having learned some skills from heir Yuhong, and had also picked up some tricks from Hebei Lao, Lu, and Ban Jieli. Most importantly, he was very smart and could grasp things quickly. His cleverness surprised even the heads of the Nine Gates, and had learned many tricks from Chitai Zue and Jie Yi as well. Chun Paici counted with his fingers, realizing that most of the Nine Gates were backing Zhang Ritong. The connections within the Nine Gates were not to be trifled with.